go to work. Oh, big bucket, and he lets you know about it.
Line inside.
Oh, beautiful play.
Nice job.
Up top, Glen Rice Jr. with the win. Here we go, here we go.
Slam down. My goodness. Briscoe.
Oh, and one. Earl Clark's big-time shot. Punching his ticket to Atlanta.
Championship Sunday in Atlanta, Georgia. The Big 3 Championship presented by Microsoft. Power trying to win their second ever championship against the defending champions, Trilogy, here on CBS. Road to this title match. Trilogy holding off the Aliens last weekend in Tampa. Power, a physical matchup. They hold off the three-headed monsters, and here they are playing for a title. Ed Cohen, Jim Jackson, Ryan Scalabrine with us as well. This is what you play for. These teams have championship DNA. We'll find out who gets the ring today.
Yeah, and not an easy road to kind of get to this point for both teams. Again, we mentioned started off a little bit slow early on, but found their rhythm. Were able to grind through the semifinals to get to the championship. They're not going to leave anything on the table. They want to win. One wants three, meaning Trilogy. 3 rings. Power wants their second.
We'll see who can get there after this one here today. Here's who's on the floor. Roster is brought to you by PNC Bank. Coutinho Mobley, lone holdover for the Power team that won in 2018. He wants his second ring. Trilogy. Jim, they've been here before. Captain James White with some great players as well from Jersey. Earl Clark and Isaiah Briscoe.
Well, you know, a great combination because Isaiah Briscoe plays with a lot of power, but he has a finesse to his game. But he forces you to have to guard him on the perimeter, picks up fouls, get his team into the penalty. And then on the defensive end, Earl Clark, see 18 points, 3 blocks. But not just that. The game winner right here to step out to stretch the defense, not afraid of the big moment. A devastating combination. And speaking of which, in scoring, Glen Rice Jr. 3 weeks in a row. Player of the week. There's a reason why, because he can score the basketball. A game-winning field goal once again for Glen Rice. Again, it's a 3-point line similar to Earl Clark. Can do a lot of things. You see Nancy Lieberman in the back throwing out the clipboard.
Well, Steven Jackson trying to win back-to-back titles. He is with Ryan Scalabrine.
All right, this one of the better coaches in the league, and Nancy and yourself, what do you got to do today to get over this hump?
So much respect for Nancy and his team, number of professionals on his team. You know, we just got to take care of our business. All season, the games we lost was because we made mistakes and beat ourselves. We can't do this against this team. This is what we play for. We want to be the first to repeat. So we just got to take care of details.
All right, good luck.
Thank you.
Nancy Lieberman, Lady Magic, winner of this championship in 2018, 4th-year coaching Power, and trying to win the Dr. J Trophy again in 2022. Final game of the Big 3 season. Key rules in the Big 3. First to 50 wins. Got to win by 2. No game clock. The shot clock is 14 seconds. Free throws, you get just 1 for 2, 3, or 4 points. And the 4-point shot. Neither team shoots it incredibly well from the outside, but there are 3 4-point circles each 30 feet away. Jim, what are you looking for in this championship game?
Nancy Lieberman, I'm sure, will have some new plays that Trilogy hasn't seen. Because that's just how her mind works. Again, she has a plethora of plays in her playbook that she hasn't used. But I'm sure being over the last few weeks worked on them, look for that, look for the cutting, and how Trilogy will guard the movement of Power, and how Power will then have to defend the height, the size, the length of Trilogy.
To begin this one, you have Briscoe for Trilogy. What a year he's had. Fireman of the Year ×2. He's great in Bring the Fire challenges. Out there for the defending champs with Earl Clark and Amir Johnson at 6'9", the big man for Trilogy. And for Power, it's going to be Coutinho Mobley, Royce White, and Glen Rice Jr. Let's do it for a championship in Atlanta. Earl Clark at the game winner in the semifinals. Johnson, no.
But I like the initial play, which is a switch to get Johnson down low for a shot. Both misses. Johnson with a closer shot. That time Mobley with the miss up top.
Isaiah Briscoe.
Yep.
Yes, first point stand.
Yeah, listen, we had an interview set up earlier for Isaiah Briscoe to talk, but he wasn't going to do it. And you know why? Because he said he's been focused a while. This is where the size comes in. Now, again, not a huge screen, but a deterrent enough for Amir Johnson to get and clear enough space for Briscoe to get that shot up and in.
Glen Rice, push shot not there. Tap to Mobley.
Smart.
And Cat with the bucket.
But smart. I mean, Royce couldn't get it. White, he couldn't get it, but he knew he could get his fingertips on it enough to tap it out to Cat, not getting that 15-foot jump shot.
Briscoe not there. Johnson one arm with the finish off this rebound.
You talk about how are you going to contend with the size once the shot goes up, because if you're in scramble mode, you can't get really rooted into the legs of an Amir Johnson there, and if you don't do it, he's going to make you pay. Speaking of which, a three-point shot and foul that time by Earl Clark. Let's take a look at it. Again, when you start to lunge like that, the body's out of control. Now, Glen Rice Jr. did pick up the knee, and that was more his initiation, but because of the lunge, body moving forward, that's what the official saw, and Rice Jr. gets the call.
So in the big three, if you're found shooting a three, you get one shot for 3 points. Glen Rice nails it.
Money. Shooting practice.
Tie game at 5. Earl Clark had a rim out. Rebound Rice to the spot. Another one's good from 3.
The advantage of getting out quick too when the shot goes up. To get out, it's almost like transition basketball, to get out behind the three-point line before the D can get set. You can find yourself getting the easy shot. Look at this. Now Briscoe is giving up a little size, but not strength to Glen Rice Jr. that time.
Like, he's 6'3". How strong is Briscoe?
But his lower body is strong. That's what makes it so tough, because his power comes from his lower body. And now, the legs, but then watch the shoulder. When he drives into Glen Rice Jr., puts his shoulder into his chest and creates enough space. But this one is just a drive right here.
Gets whacked by Mobley. Isaiah Briscoe, the three-point shooting, not his strength, but 19 points per game, because when he gets to the rim, he's nearly automatic.
Man, I'm going to tell you something. Is three-point shooting part of DeMar DeRozan's strength? You know what I'm saying? But they know how to score the ball.
No doubt.
And they know what they don't know, so they're not going to force a lot of those shots. If they're open, they'll take them. But Briscoe knows this is where he makes his money, is getting his opponent deep in the paint.
Earl Clark on the fade. Halfway down, missed. Rice. Quick clear, misses the 3. Power 8, Trilogy 7 in this Big 3 championship game. And 2 coaches have already won a ring. Nancy Lieberman in 2018, Steven Jackson last year. Briscoe denied, but a late whistle, and he's fouled.
But that's a case, too, where Glen Rice Jr. got to be a little bit more disciplined. Okay, if Isaiah Briscoe wants to shoot the 3, okay, close out short, force him to shoot it over top, but he committed too soon and went for the pump fake, and that just gave Briscoe what he wanted, which was a drive to the basket.
Now, Jimmy missed his last free throw, Briscoe. That's so important, especially in the Big 3.
Well, it comes down to this, and we talked about it before. They've lost some games where they didn't convert, meaning Trilogy, from the free throw line. Okay? You make those free throws, again, it's 1 for 2. You're able to capitalize off of not only that, but then when you get yourself in the penalty and late game situations, that can put you closer to your ultimate goal, which is to win the game.
Mobley going to work. Fade away, in and out. Rice kept it in bounds. Mobley hit the game winner in the 2018 title game in Brooklyn. 4 to shoot. Glen Rice Jr. going baseline. The scoop's denied by Clark. And a shot clock violation.
Now here's where the change of pace comes in after we see this block by Clark. TJ Klein has now entered the game. Just keep an eye on his activity off the ball, whether that's moving and cutting to receive passes for layups or jump shots, or just keeping the ball alive offensively off of rebounds, taps, things of that nature.
Jimmy, TJ Klein in for power. They go deeper to their bench than Trilogy does. Briscoe Nails the three. Off the dribble. 12-8. Trilogy with the advantage, in Briscoe with 11 of their 12.
Not often, but effective. Isaiah Briscoe will step behind the three-point line, square it up, has confidence to knock it in.
You're watching the Big 3 Championship presented by Microsoft. Here's the shot of the day presented by Lucky 29 Vodka. Let's go back to the All-Star game. Deshaun Stevens, Jimmy, was huge.
No, well, he had a couple of putbacks, the alley-oop from out of bounds. I mean, what a great addition to the Big 3, and this is not great right here. I've seen this before, been there as an older gentleman, to sit down gingerly, to stretch out the back, and hopefully it's something that the trainer can work on. It looks like Glen Rice Jr. on the sideline right now is moving around.
That's a good sign.
No, it is.
But worth watching the rest of this final.
I mean, the thing you want to do is kind of keep the back loose, to keep them moving, but maybe trainers did a really good job of stretching him out, because he seems to be moving pretty good, but he's bending down a little gingerly right there. That to wipe his feet. We'll keep our eye on that, especially on the defensive end, on how he's able to elevate.
So Rice, Klein, and White for power. Backdoor, White not there.
Yeah, that's the size right there with Amir Johnson. Didn't get the block, but influenced the shot.
Briscoe, best handle in the league. Dancing with it. Earl Clark over Rice. Klein coasting in for the board.
Yeah, the little things that TJ does that time, just pursuing the basketball, could have easily been picked up by Amir Johnson.
Good thing he dished it out. They hadn't cleared. Right. Rice with the teardrop.
You notice that a lot of times too, when you have an injury, it doesn't bother you as much when you're on the offensive end.
Yeah.
Of the court.
He's got his hands full now, chasing Briscoe. Big screen. Johnson held up by White. Able to bank it in. Trilogy a 9-2 run, a 14-10 lead. Glen Rice hit the game winner in the semifinals. Klein on the drive, left it short. Now hit the rim. Trilogy doesn't clear. But I guess the call is that it never touched the rim.
They're going to review it and see.
Nancy Lieberman was all over it and trying to tell the officials, you've got to take a look. What'd you think in real time?
I thought it was underneath. I didn't think it hit.
Okay.
Now, again, the angle that I'm sitting at, we're sitting at, we don't see the other side of the rim, but I thought he left it more so on the backboard. Review of a clearing. Okay, I got you. Good call on that, Scott.
He's got so much Gene's territory in him.
Oh, I'm telling you, this is his next career.
Boy, Royce White with traffic coming, able to finish.
Again, the movement part, that's what you have to guard with power. More so when Trilogy is guarding off the dribble, and not to say that power doesn't do it, but they do a really good job, especially when TJ Klein is in the game. These wheel routes are moving, and that's just, again, off the dribble by Briscoe using that power.
Briscoe now at 12. Remember last week in the semis had 17 in the first half of their win against the Aliens. It's going to stay with power. Now the shot clock reset.
They said Amir Johnson had a little bit of the possession after the shot went up right there. So the possession and then the knockaway gives power a shot clock at 14.
Klein, quick release, short.
Open.
Briscoe, too much. It's loose to the Lady Magic and out of bounds. Now she might put on the moves that she used to put on at Rucker Park back in the day.
Back in the day, how about Nicholas Skeetus-Veely coming into the game? He can play a huge role for power to walk away with the dub. And he impact the game, rebounding the ball, provide a little challenge to Amir Johnson.
Well, look out.
Hey, I like it. I like the physicality.
And they'll get Briscoe here.
Well, I mean, this is TJ Klein. You think the son of Nancy, even that he's not going to be tough, physical, and competitive? Stop it. And on that side of it, too, Briscoe's like, yeah, I know you're taller than me, but I'm not going to allow you to post me up either.
Same story here. Klein, drop step, and the finish.
Oh, and he gave him the too little side, too. Now, I guarantee you, after that exchange with Briscoe trying to come back at somebody.
2-point lead for Trilogy. Rice nearly the steal. There's Briscoe, thought about it. Earl Clark, 4 to shoot. Lost it, but he's fouled. And it was on the way up, so he's going to get a 2-point shot.
TJ Klein this time using his size. I'm not going to say overpower Briscoe, but oversize him, so to speak, at the end. And then that play right there. At the end.
Hey
What you
guys,
got?
today I was at the coffee shop, and you know when you talk to coaches and they say something without saying something, they were talking about Isaiah Briscoe, and keeping him off the line is one thing, but they're going to post him and thinking that he will run out of energy as this game goes along.
Wow.
Something to keep an eye on. They might be playing you're going to have to guard on this end to bring it for the rest of the game, because they do rely on him to score.
Well, and that's a smart move, because an offensive foul that time at TJ Klein, but Trilogy is very short, really short in backcourt in regards to you do have David Hawkins and James White, but they're not point guards. So why not wear into the legs and force Isaiah to have to guard you and spend a lot of that energy on the defensive end? So they're very smart, Scout.
Ankle breaker. Clark over Klein. Off the mark. Trilogy by 4. Rice doubles, knocked away, got it back. Skidishvili, what a shoot, denied. And can't get a shot away. Great D by Amir Johnson.
It was, but good hands, deflections to disrupt what Power wanted to do in that offensive possession.
By the way, Klein and Briscoe, the big matchup at the moment. Klein with 2 fouls. If he picks up another, he's going to have to sit the rest of this first half. Briscoe launches. And Skidishvili, former 5th pick in the NBA draft, 2002, with the rebound. Glen Rice, pull up over Briscoe. Got it!
Tough shot. I mean, Briscoe was right in his face. But Glen Rice able to maintain his concentration, follow through. Almost got a steal right there from Briscoe.
It stays with Trilogy, 10 to shoot.
Well, watch the defense here. Isaiah Briscoe did the right thing, gave him space and then contested up top. Trying to put a hand in his face, but Glen Rice laser focused.
Earl Clark rises, misses. Rice with the rebound. Klein, runner's good, and Power has retaken the lead.
Example of get the rebound, clear it, and attack quick. You get a high percentage shot, and that time TJ able to hit that runner.
Briscoe throws it away. Klein didn't have to clear. The steal in the bucket. Timeout Trilogy as Power has put together an 11-4 run. 21-18 Power here in Atlanta, and we're back in 30 seconds. Goes their way in the quest to be the ultimate survivor. It's new season of Survivor, Wednesdays this fall on CBS. And the big survivor for Power, TJ Klein, leading the way.
But it's always, you try to figure out how to bring energy off the bench. TJ Klein has been able to do that all season, not just offensively, but defensively. He's brought the spark, sparked the fire. Again, his team operates a lot differently when TJ is in the game. A lot more movement, the ball doesn't stick, but his energy is infectious. Hence, you see the difference with Power now that they're in the lead, and as all the result, a lot of it has to do with TJ Klein in his play.
He's out there with Rice, Skidishvili, Earl Clark. Nice shot of the timeout with the bucket.
A little isolation play. They knew they could get the switch, and Skidishvili not able to stay right in front of Earl Clark.
Earl Clark, BIG3 Defensive Player of the Year. On the switch, Rice, backdoor. Oh, Klein did it deflect off him. It's going to stay with Power.
No, Trilogy. TJ Klein right at the end got a little piece of it. Let's see right there.
James White, the captain, launches off the mark. Clark, second effort, the three is good for Earl Clark.
Well, when you have Earl Clark, you can spell and give Isaiah Briscoe a little break. If you look at the lineups right now, it's not like it's Cuttino Mobley in the lineup from a point guard position. Earl Clark can handle some of the ball handling responsibilities.
Cats got the board. Jim, Earl Clark with the last 7 for Trilogy to retake the lead. Klein, shot clock's at 5. Klein against White, 2 to shoot, the fadeaway off the mark.
Yeah, Nancy Lieberman that time yelling at TJ, go to the basket, don't settle for that jump shot.
Trilogy can get us to the break. Clark off the mark with the left. Another chance. Bodies in the Klein. Clark fades.
Tough shot. He's beating with the hold.
Loose ball foul. Nicholas Skidishvili. He's going to get a breather.
He's like, if I can't get it, you're not getting it. They don't say he grabbed him.
Royce White in. And Briscoe will retake the floor for Trilogy in place of Amir Johnson. 23-21 Trilogy, defending champions. Earl Clark sizing up White, attacks, spins, fires. Almost got the bounce.
Yeah, but I'm surprised Clark didn't square but knock in and just shoot the first shot off the dribble, and penetration by Briscoe kind of made that offensive possession a little bit harder than it needed to be.
Hold the chair, gets it back. Briscoe, no. Clark, yes. And we've hit the break in the championship game.
The first to 25 Trilogy able to use their size to kind of dominate the paint a little bit more. Earl Clark able to pick up some of that loose change.
Let's go to scout TJ Klein.
TJ, this game is super physical out there. You came in, you made a big difference. What do you guys got to do to continue your momentum?
We just got to keep our flow on offense. When we get stagnant, they're a bigger team. It allows them to guard us. When we're moving on the perimeter, they really can't stay with us. So we just got to make sure we don't get too stagnant, and that's kind of on us.
All right, good luck second half.
Appreciate it.
Catch your breath. First half in the books. The score, Trilogy 25, Power 21. The BIG3 Championship. We'll return to Atlanta after these messages and a word from your local station. The BIG3 Championship presented by Microsoft.
The 2022 BIG3 Championship presented by Microsoft is sponsored by American Home Shield. Keeps your home up and running and your budget on track. Learn more at ahs.com.
Trilogy, both past champions at the break of this latest championship presented by Microsoft. Trilogy by 4 over Power. TickPick is proud to be the official secondary ticket marketplace of the BIG3. Why pay extra for tickets when you can get the same seats for better prices on TickPick? Download the app to get the guaranteed best prices on tickets to any live event. No service fees, period. Well, the music of NLE Choppa on Championship Sunday in Atlanta. Ed Cohen, Jim Jackson, Brian Scalabrine with us as well. A 4-point game with the break for this championship.
It is, but you act like you know these songs, right? And you was over here bopping a little bit to Chopper, but it's been all good. I see. But what we expected, a competitive game. The size of Trilogy starting to rear its head a little bit. It'll be interesting to see the adjustments that Nancy Lieberman makes at halftime to kind of negate that a little bit.
Well, Trilogy, they've ridden Isaiah Briscoe all year long. Again, a strong first half for their leading scorer.
Well, you're not going to stop now. I mean, because he's been able to set the table offensively for Trilogy all year, whether that's knocking down shots, getting the ball to the basket, attracting the defense, kicking it out to his opponents, to his teammates. And you see where Isaiah has been successful. He's knocked in, 3 there, but you want to force him to play on the perimeter if you do, because if he gets down here, he's going to put the defense in all kind of problems.
Big 3 edition is powered by Microsoft. So Briscoe with 12, Trilogy's 25, Earl Clark scoring 9. Power led by Glen Rice Jr. with 11 for 21 points, and they're the 2 stars in this one, in this championship game.
Well, you know it. Glen Rice Jr. coming into this game, player of the week for the 3rd week in a row, 11 points. Isaiah Briscoe, you knew these 2 were going to be the catalysts for each team. So let's see what the second half will bring, what adjustments both teams make. I look forward to be a little bit more physical, a little bit more calculating. Each possession counts a little bit more. You don't want to have those empty opportunities offensively where you give up, not getting a good shot, allowing your opponent to capitalize off your mistakes.
There we go. Second half for a title in the Big 3, Season 5. Clark, Johnson, and Briscoe for Trilogy against Mobley, Royce White, Glen Rice for power. Briscoe, one-legged, won't go. Tapped out. Earl Clark for Briscoe. Corner tray. Knocks it down.
Well, again, keeping the possession alive, providing another opportunity offensively to get a shot at Briscoe. Again, not a highly efficient three-point shooter, but when he can get his feet set, he's shown the ability, once again, to knock it in. And speaking of which,
second chance, 0 for 2, and you wonder, going back to the injury the Stinger he had back in the first half.
Yeah, how much that is affecting his elevation. And Earl Clark, we have no problem with his elevation.
Jim, that's a 12-ball extended run. All of a sudden, it's 30-21.
Yeah, and how quickly Trilogy can put it on you.
Rice against Briscoe, hangs, missed it, flings the rebound in. A shot they desperately needed.
Yep.
Briscoe takes White off the dribble. Scoop, hangs, but misses. Mobley beaten to it by Clark. Earl Clark, the great length on both ends of the floor. Fades away. Off the heel to Rice. And Briscoe at the touch, but enough contact. First foul of the half on Trilogy. This is winning time, and these are 2 teams that have been here before.
That understand, I think the team too to get to the penalty sooner. Because again, the rules are, if you get in the penalty, you make the free throw on a shot, you retain possession. So that gives you an opportunity to double up from a scoring situation. That's why I say don't settle for jump shots. Do this, put the ball on the deck, start to rack up those fouls early. Because from a strategical perspective, that benefits you in late game situations, that you're now able to get yourself to the free throw line and potentially retain possession on the make.
Royce White, 6'8", one of the best passers the Big 3 has to offer. Off the mark. Rice couldn't tip it out. Johnson wide open, denied by Rice. What a recovery. Glen Rice Jr.
Well, making the extra effort on the plate. Again, he could have easily stayed down. He was upset. He did complain, but then he got up just in time to take away what should have been an easy shot and finish for Amir Johnson.
Go back to last week. He had a block of Murphy when it was 49-48 in the semifinals. If he doesn't block that layup, it's over.
Well, again, game-winning plays, and a lot of times he's not making a shot. You talked about the game last week. Okay, you get that block. That's a game-winning play that allowed his team to utilize that as momentum to ultimately win the game.
Clark sneaks in for the board. Briscoe wants another crack at it. 5-point game, 30-25 Trilogy with the advantage in Atlanta. White denied. That's the defensive player of the year for good reason.
I'm telling you what, but he's able to guard the perimeter guy, slide his feet, but then more powerful, maybe shorter. Royce White, he's able still to absorb a lot of that shoulder contact that Royce is trying to give to create space and still have the length to block the shot.
5-point game. We're back in 30 seconds after this. The original call, and they'll get the ball. A good challenge by Steve Jackson.
Well, it looked like, well, I mean, officials see at the end that Royce White, his fingertips were the last one to kind of touch the basketball, so good challenge that time by Coach Jack.
He's got the rings with the Spurs, with Trilogy. He's looking for a third.
He wants a third.
Earl Clark fires. Won't go. Rebound Rice. Bodies tumble. Offensive on Glen Rice. And Nancy Lieberman not pleased. He's laboring.
Now, Rice Jr. didn't really extend the arm as much as I think Briscoe kind of got, well, right there, but that was a little fake too by Briscoe too, so he got away with it. We've seen some more physical offensive fouls called, but the motion with the arm and then Briscoe falling back prompted the official on the sideline to call it.
Jimmy's their best scorer, but how's Rice looking physically?
A little limited with that. If you ever had a back issue, you know the mobility challenges that you face. In particular this, you're talking about running and jumping, you know, and trying to finish through things like that right there.
Around and through, and he's got a chance at three.
But staying with it, though, I give him a lot of credit for that. I mean, understand this is the last game. You fight through the pain. You do what you can. And this time able to gather himself, go through two defenders, and put himself to the free throw line for the old-fashioned three-point play.
Had that block earlier, and now this potential and one. And coupled with Trilogy missing their last 7 shots, got for now a 3-point game.
Real quick, too, while he's on the free throw line, shout out to Jerome J.Y.D. Williams program during the school year. Give scholarships to kids in digital education, including financial literature, mental health. Since 2015, the program has given out $10 million in scholarships to HBCUs. Shootingforpeace.com. That's JYD, www.shootingforpeace.com. See, BIG3 does a lot more than just put on games. They affect and touch communities.
The Junkyard Dog out of Briscoe.
Speaking about Junkyard Dog, Briscoe has a lot of dog in him.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of fight.
He scored 17. Trilogy's 32. White pops for 3. Too much. Rice waiting. He'll fake. Now step out. Nails it! Hold that stroke. It's a 1-point game.
Right? Neither team can kind of separate themselves. It seems like when one gets up a little bit, it has momentum. The other kind of figures out a way to get some stops and kind of fight their way back in. Again, that's why they're the two best teams right now still standing. Their ability to close the gap in games where it seems like they might not be able to. Bring the fire.
Nancy Lieberman brings the fire. Here are the rules. You can challenge a shooting foul. If the defense gets a stop, no points. If the offensive player scores or there's a foul by the defender, it's 2 points, in this case for Trilogy. It's Briscoe against Rice. That's the matchup.
That's the matchup.
Briscoe loves to go left. He does. Can finish. Advantage defense.
Well, and even that, Glen Rice Jr. was kind of retreating a little bit. That allowed Briscoe to get closer to the rim. But watch the size play a little more of a factor in favor of Rice Jr. to kind of contest that left-handed shot by Briscoe.
Star comparison, Rice has really taken over since the break. With 19 now.
Wow.
Almost from 4. Clark against Cat. Earl Clark. Tough shot, rattles it in.
And you got to know what Earl Clark, when he starts to pat the ball, put it on the deck, it's a rhythm dribble. If he doesn't go quick, he's trying to find his rhythm in order to create a little space to get that shot up. And that time in the corner, it was very successful to get that up and over to Tino Mobley.
Trilogy, 34-31 lead. Rice drives and will shoot a 2-point shot.
Now, I'm telling you what, playing hard. Still dealing with that, but you see some guys would maybe be hesitant to drive because they don't want the contact, they don't want to hit the ground, they don't want to feel a little bit of the pain of landing, but that's not the case for Glen Rice Jr. He hasn't backed away at all.
#1 pick in this year's draft. Power pegged him early, knew he'd fit perfectly, and he's carried them the last few weeks. Free throws good. Again, Jimmy, a 1-point game in this championship. Briscoe rips through. Scoop, too much. And a foul on White against Amir Johnson. And boy, the physicality since the break has been full steam.
Well, you knew that was going to happen. Again, each possession is worth more because you're on the back end of the game. So you're going to value that, and you're not going to allow your opponent to have anything easy. And this time, Amir Johnson gets away with a push on Glen Rice Jr. But again, as players, you got to understand how the officials are calling the game. You got to make your adjustments. You're going to complain. That means you're going to take yourself out of the play, which opens up an offensive rebound opportunity or something else for your opponent.
Missed free throw. Those always hurt. Klein stripped off his foot. He's going to stay with Power. Oh no, Trilogy gets it.
Yeah. Not really good spacing that time for Power.
Look at Briscoe probing. Spin and score. So Power a couple times is close to within 1, but Trilogy's answered and keeping the lead here at 36-33. Glen Rice sitting at 19, 10 since the break. Clothesline, no foul. Johnson, no, but he'll get another 2-point shot on the foul by Royce White.
Yeah, Earl Clark got away with a little grab on Glen Rice Jr. Again, it didn't result in a call. It was a turnover, which gave an easy opportunity for Amir Johnson that time.
You made the point earlier, the foul situation. Trilogy now with 4 as a team, Power with 3. We've got a long way to go. This guy's been near automatic from the field. Nearly 70% shooting for a big 6'9" Amir Johnson. And give him the 2-point free throw. In Atlanta, Trilogy by 5 for a title. You're watching the Big 3 Championship presented by Microsoft. Tonight on CBS begins with 60 Minutes and undercover data detectives, followed by a new Big Brother, plus The Equalizer and NCIS Los Angeles, tonight on CBS. Here in Atlanta, this is what they're playing for, the hardware, the Julius Erving Championship Trophy. Who's going to add to their total? Power, winners in 2018, but Trilogy, Jim, winners not once, but twice, trying to make it back-to-back here in 2022.
Yeah, a chance for both of these teams to be really greedy, whether that's Trilogy winning 3 or Power winning their second. So we got it down the stretch. It's going to be a dogfight. Hey, Scott, what do you see in regards to down the stretch? No team has been able to separate itself. What's going to be the difference?
For Power, I think they need to move the ball to about 45 seconds. 45 points, and then at that point go to Glen Rice. But I think too much of that early is going to hurt them.
What about Trilogy on their side?
I just put Isaiah Briscoe. It seems like Trilogy is benefiting off the offensive rebounds or Earl Clark. Year Johnson's having a pretty good impactful game today, and he's usually doing it on the glass.
How about that, too? I was mentioning, too, the size for Trilogy and how that plays a factor. And that goes back into what you were saying, like moving the bodies. Power has to do a better job of that, right? I
agree. I think the last 5 points, you can go to that guy, Glen Rice, but up until that point, I think they got to move the ball.
Well, Scott, we made the point about Amir Johnson. Big swat there to deny a chance at the rim. Right now we're sitting on 40-33. Trilogy are 10 points away from their 3rd Big 3 championship. Now the call on the floor is for Power. Let's take a look.
Well, at the end, let's see. Well, it looks like it goes off. Well, right there at the end. So when Johnson blocks it, apparently it doesn't hit the out-of-bounds line. Let's see there. Because if the play continues on, I think it was TJ Klein at the end. The ball is in. We couldn't see it. TJ came in right at the end. Right here. Yeah, it's off TJ. So it's a matter, too, of how much time is on the shot clock for Trilogy. They retain the possession. It stays at 8.
This is big.
On the floor, successful challenge is going to be red ball on the end line.
Another successful challenge, that time by Stack. When you use it, again, key possession that time, I think, to retain for Trilogy. To kind of inch this lead up.
Briscoe fires too much. White pulling the jersey out of bounds. It's going to stay with Trilogy. After Scout's point, Briscoe just let it fly.
Well, you can shoot it too and allow your size, as we see here, to give you another opportunity to capitalize off a second possession. So when you have size inside and you have Briscoe that's going to attract a lot of attention, when the ball goes up, the higher percentages that either Clark or Johnson can get a hand on it to extend the possession.
Rice, easy 2. This made it look easy. Ends an 8-0 run, and Power within 7.
Well, a lot harder than what it was. He just, like you said, made it look easy. But the key is, can Power on this end get enough stops to make it relevant enough for Glen Rice Jr. to do his thing offensively?
Earl Clark. Oh, White just threw his mouthpiece over the. It's been teed up in the championship at 42-35. He's got to be careful.
Well, it's too late to be careful now because you can't afford to get a technical foul when you're down 7. So now you're basically granting Trilogy some points that will initially get them closer to a dub. Controlling emotions in late game situations is so critical. Yes, you're upset. We get it. Didn't get the call, but now it's a foul. It's a foul.
So he gets teed up, but Nancy Lieberman brings the fire on the foul.
No fire. Not on the.
I guess you shoot the technical first.
You have to shoot the tech first because the tech is first. Now.
So 1 for 2 points. Earl Clark, good. And boy, does that hurt.
Oh, big time, because that's 2 points because of the foul. Potentially a 4-point possession for a Trilogy. Getting the little things, the mental things to win or lose games down the stretch. You have to be able to contain your emotions. And officials will let you get away with some things, but throwing your mouthpiece up in the stands is not going to be one of them.
Earl Clark taking it down the stretch. Three-pointer and championship point game for Trilogy. 47-35, New Jersey's own. We're back in 30 seconds after this.
T-shirt shots always.
Trilogy nearing the finish line of another title, trying to make it back-to-back. Get official Big 3 merch at store.big3.com for league and team apparel, including jerseys, hats, and jackets. Get it all at store.big3.com. Earl Clark with 11 of his 20 points since the break.
Yeah, but it caps out 5-point possession for Trilogy. The 2 points at the free throw line. The missed technical, the missed shot. He made the technical, missed the foul shot, but they kept the possession alive and got a 3-point shot.
Trilogy, a 13-2 run. Glen Rice Jr. Power needs a comeback now. White doubled. Too much. Briscoe stays in bounds. Point game for Trilogy. Can win it here. Clark sizing up Mobley. Fouled. Shot no good, but he's going to get a 2-point shot with his team 3 points away.
No, this one to win. Well, yeah, because he doesn't have to win it on this one. Yeah. If it was 48, the ball would be on the side. Then another possession. Then if they got fouled again, then he would go to the free throw line. And the reason being, making the adjustment early in the history of the Big 3 to not have to kind of finish the game on a foul like that at the free throw line. But Earl Clark able to get the Trilogy closer. If he can knock this in and only down to 1 point to win it.
Here we go. Point game for Trilogy. Winners in 2017. Year 1 of the Big 3. Winners last year. Briscoe, stop and go to the rim. Got it! A championship Trilogy. For the 3rd time, Trilogy is the Big 3 champion.
Let the confetti drop. Again, the little things down the stretch of the game for Trilogy. What benefited? The 5-point swing, and then guess what? The Trilogy was in the penalty. So after making the free throw, they were able to retain possession. And it was the man who began all of this for Trilogy, who set the table was able to finish it off at the end, which is Isaiah Briscoe. From a little hesitation on Royce White right there, excuse me. I'm gonna take these two, walk off the court, give me my trophy and a ring, get the second consecutive and third overall championship for Trilogy.
Only fitting is this guy waving it bye-bye in Atlanta.
You think you'll do an interview right now with Sal? You think you'll do an interview?
If not now, then never.
Yeah, exactly.
And he's got another one
in the
finger. Third ring for Steven Jackson as a pro, one with the Spurs as a player, two as a coach. And Isaiah Briscoe makes it back-to-back for Trilogy and their third Big 3 championship in franchise history. James White, the first ever player to win 3 rings in the Big 3. A final on CBS. Trilogy 51-35 over Power. The champions in Season 5 of the Big 3 today in Atlanta. Trilogy, the champions, again in the Big 3. 51-35 today over Power in Atlanta. Let's take a look at today's monster moment. Let's go back to the game winner, Mr. Briscoe.
But this was the cap off a tremendous ending for Trilogy, which is they took advantage of the frustrations of Power, able to capitalize off of it and score the last 7 points of the game off of 2 possessions. So the championship trophy, once again in the hands of Trilogy and capped off by Isaiah Briscoe.
Over to Brian Scalabrine.
All right, I'm here. 2022 champions Trilogy, the Dr. J Trophy. Ice Cube, hand it out.
We want to thank our back-to-back champions, Trilogy, the first back-to-back champions in Big 3 history. 3-time champs, 3 rings in 5 years. We got to give it up to Trilogy.
All right.
Back to back.
Back to back, more jewelry.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
How was this year for you?
It's been a blessing. I just want to say this first. I dedicate this championship to Andre Emmett and his mother. We was able to retire Andre Emmett's jersey. He was a big part of the Big 3, so I dedicate this championship to him and his mother. But second, I got some talking to do. Okay? I really feel like we lost our best player in Jerry Jack. Finished #1 in regular season and won a championship. I think we deserve MVP and Coach of the Year, but I'll take this trophy instead. Shout out to my team. Shout out to the Big 3 for another great event. Cube and Jeff, I love y'all to death. We coming back for 3 though. The first to 2 P's, we coming back for 3. Shout out to the team.
Earl. Oh, you got big shot down the stretch in the second half. What got you going in that second half?
Oh man, all year I just look for the support of my guys. You know, I was open. You know, Briscoe, must-see TV. Of course, it's a lot of attention on him, so he just found me. I locked it down, squared up, knocked it down.
Isaiah, you've been blowing me off during the games, but you got it done. You're locked in. You were focused. What's this championship mean to you?
Nah, let me tell you something, because I got a lot to say right now. Stack should have got Coach of the Year. Swaggy is Coach of the Year. I should have got MVP, too hard to guard, whatever you want to call it. My man E got Defensive Player of the Year. We should have wiped everything, but it's okay because we got the championship. I'm good.
Yeah.
Any more?
That's how we really feel. Shout out to CBS.
All right. The only 3 times champion.
3-time champ. Only 3 times.
Stack's saying 4 next year. So how you keep winning over and over again?
I mean, I equate this to having my great young fellas came through for me. You say I ain't have to do much. This guy, and this guy held it down for me, man. We coming back and get another one. I'm trying to get 4 next year.
That's what we do.
All right.
Hey,
Wait, one more.
Let me give you a shout out. Shout out to my boy B. Scal. You've been killing it all year. It's an honor to have a guy of your expertise of basketball doing this, so we appreciate you too. We can't just give everybody else props and not give you no love either, bro.
Just got to stand by Cube. Got to stand by Jack. It's going back to you. My day is over. Congratulations to Trilogy, 2022 Big 3 champs.
Amen, Brian Scalabrine. And yes, Trilogy serving notice, Jim. They are the team to beat again. They won a three-peat, but their third ring in franchise history in a thorough title win today. More to come from Atlanta. Trilogy wins the championship of the Big 3.